A lot of us, when we are starting the gym in this kind of shape, you often have one of two goals: lose fat or gain muscle. These can seem like very black and white options. You either pick one or the other. You either bulk to put on the most amount of muscle possible whilst putting on a bit of fat, or you cut and aim to lose as much fat as possible. But what if I told you it's possible to do both at the same time and potentially save yourself from going through two processes to get to your end goal? You may be thinking that's impossible. To gain muscle, we have to go into a caloric surplus and consume more calories than we burn off, but to lose fat, we must go into a caloric deficit, the opposite, and burn more calories than we consume. It doesn't match up. Many people used to think this way, and a lot still do. So how does it work? This process is called body recomposition. This is where you go through a process of transforming your body by losing fat but also aiming to gain muscle at the same time. With body recomposition, the focus isn't on the weighing scales and losing weight. It's about shifting your body mass into more lean muscle mass than fat mass. During body recomp, although you are losing fat, your weight may stay the same or even go up, as you are gaining muscle mass on top of the fat that you're losing. And you may see noticeable changes in the mirror despite no change in weight. Your focus should be on your body and your physique, getting it from this to this, instead of seeing any weight changes. What are the key steps and processes to body recomposition, and how can you gain muscle and lose fat simultaneously? First, we'll start off with your diet. In body recomposition, you want to be in a slight caloric deficit. As to lose fat, your body needs to be burning off more calories than it's taking in, but you also need to make sure you're not in too heavy of a caloric deficit that it completely stops your ability to gain and maintain muscle. Therefore, you want to be consuming 100 to 500 calories less than your maintenance calories. If you are higher in body fat, you will probably want to go deeper into this range, but if you are lower in body fat, you may want to go a lot closer to your maintenance. To find out your maintenance calories and how much you should be consuming over this process, I'll leave a link down below to a calculator. A key part of this body recomposition process, the most important in fact, is consuming a great amount of protein. This is what allows your body to hold on to its muscle mass and gain more on top of what you already have. If you cut a lot of protein and your protein sources in your caloric deficit, your body will start eating away at your muscle mass to get the necessary fuel and energy it needs to function and train, resulting in you losing a load of muscle. I recommend you aim for about 30 to 35% of your calories coming from protein. A good range to aim for is around 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body mass you have, and maybe even treating that as a minimum. This will put you in a good place for sustaining and growing muscle during recomposition, as well as aiding you in your fat loss. A great tip is to make use of protein shakes here. They are very easy ways to consume that extra 20 or 30 grams of protein that you may need in your day. In terms of your carb consumption, this may change depending on whether it's a training day or your rest day. For example, on a training day, you are probably going to want to consume a lot more carbs to fuel you for your workouts. On a training day, I'd say 35 to 40% of your calories coming from carbs, and on a rest day, around 30% is more advised. And with fat consumption, this should be around 30% of your calories for the day, with a conscious effort of trying to consume more healthy fats. These are obviously rough markers of how you should be splitting up your macros. If you want specifics to follow and track, I'll again leave a calculator in the description specifically for body recomposition macros and how many grams of each you should be consuming. Now, what should you be doing when you're in the gym? In the gym, you should be training with the focus of gaining muscle. Implementing progressive overload, trying to up the weight or the reps every session is what you should be aiming for, hitting those PRs. Find a weight that you struggle to get up for 6 to 10 reps and keep working on upping that until you can move to the heavier weight. Make sure you are moving down in weight if needed though, to make sure your form is correct and to avoid any long-lasting damage or injuries. Make sure you establish a workout schedule or workout split where you give equal training to every muscle group. This is all imperative to making sure you start growing muscle and getting stronger alongside the fat loss. I've made loads of videos on maximising muscle growth, training splits, etc. on this channel, and there'll be more in the future, so make sure you hit that button to stay updated. Regarding cardio, throwing in a bike session or 10 minutes on the treadmill obviously isn't bad, but just keep it in mind and be careful that you don't go too hard into cardio and throw yourself into an even heavier caloric deficit, as that will start eating away at your muscle stores and eat away at the progress you can make by the end of your recomp too. But why doesn't everyone do body recomposition over, say, bulking or cutting? Does this process not work for everyone? Well, bulking and cutting are much more efficient when it comes to getting you to either corresponding goal quicker. With bulking, you are ensuring that you are optimized to gain as much muscle as possible with a big caloric surplus. And cutting, you are ensuring you lose as much fat as soon as possible with a big caloric deficit. With recomposition, it's a longer process. You won't be gaining as much rapid progress in muscle growth and fat loss compared to if you did them both separately. Body recomposition is more of a fit for some people than it is for others. Here are some examples of people that would benefit the most from body recomposition. Firstly, new lifters. They can build muscle and lose fat at the same time very quickly, all because of newbie gains, and they are at their optimal muscle growth. Secondly, previous lifters that fell out of training. It could be because of an injury, or they just fell out of love with the gym. They can regain muscle quicker purely due to their muscle memory, and they've been there and done that. Thirdly, people who have been training ineffectively and not in an optimized way. Therefore, they haven't been putting in enough effort or smart enough effort into their workouts or into their diet, and therefore this puts them in the same kind of category as the new lifters and can still benefit from a lack of lifting experience. Fourthly, people with a high body fat, people who are overweight, as they have very large energy reserves stored in their body fat. Therefore, they can get away with eating in a harsher calorie deficit, as their fat stores can fuel their muscle building. The only people that it would really be less advised to go through this process is maybe advanced lifters who have been training for several years with every process optimized and their technique locked down, as they are close to their genetic ceiling for their body. Do you fit into any of these categories? And do you think this process is for you? Let me know down below in the comments. How important is genetics in how quickly you can gain muscle or lose fat in this process? Are you a part of the lucky few who have much more muscle building potential? Watch this video right here to find out, and hit that subscribe button.